That's a transition to a passage you wrote that really brought me to tears. And I'd like you to read that, and then I'd like to ask you a question from that.
Well, I don't know if I could read it without also coming to tears. But, I was, just tiny background. Those of you who've been to Normandy, to the beaches of Normandy, you know what sacred ground that is. It's a remarkable place. Colville-sur-Mer. It's an American property deeded to us in France. And it's the resting place of the, mostly the guys who've lost their lives on the beach, but not just on the beach. And I've always found it mesmerizing and it's just awe-filling. I mean, because that task of coming at a beach with the most incredible fortresses on the bluff, huge concrete bunkers of the Germans with every kind of artillery and machine gun and mortar. And these young Americans came in on those Higgins boats in the landing. You saw some of it in Private Ryan, in a sense. And they somehow forged their way across that beach and up the bluff and won the day. So it is a...
you were visiting with your wife.
I was visiting with my wife-to-be. We weren't married yet. But I had taken her there in order to share this place with her because of the emotional and historical sweep of the place. And here's what happened while we were there. The entire time we were there, we went all the way down to a near-deserted part of the beach where troops had broken through on D-Day. There we sat on some rocks at the edge of the beach. The tide was rising, and we measured each wave as it reached closer and closer to the rocks. The entire time we were there, mesmerized by the stillness and the beauty, an older gentleman, and we presumed his wife, were sitting together in an embrace, looking out at the water, not moving, lost in thought. I am certain he was a returned veteran, someone who survived that extraordinary landing, someone who had come back to find peace and perhaps remember the friends he had lost at that very place. Quietly, but deliberately, he stood up. He took off his clothes piece by piece. Then, completely naked, with a squeeze of his wife's hand, he walked straight out into the water, unabashed, unembarrassed, without awareness of anybody watching.
Yeah.
Lost in his memories of the moment. He seemed to be performing a ritual of purity, allowing the waves to carry him in and out as they once had washed soldiers' bodies back and forth until the dead were finally recovered after the fighting on the beach. Teresa and I, holding hands, watched in silence. We were frozen in that spot on the beach as if for an eternity. To this day, it is one of the most touching, beautiful moments we have ever witnessed together. It was mystical and a gift. That's it.
That deserves your applause.